So much information has been hidden. Like you said, the man turned the stone the other way around, so, something would happen. Well, the base stones of the Brugg na Boyne, right, at Newgrange, have all been deliberately turned face in, so people can't see the pictographs and hieroglyphics there. And that's just an example I'm giving you of the fact that the establishment has hidden so much factual information where none of us would have to have conferences like this. It would be a no-brainer what's going on in the world. Conjecture is that sort of Conan Doyle way of jumping the gap. That's what we have to make do with. You have to be imaginative. You have to be, the conjecture is what we now have to build the bridge between the beads that are all over the floor and no thread. So never doubt your imagination or your intuition at all, because it would be a perfect world, wouldn't it, if no information was ever concealed from us and we could just go to absolute factual information. Unfortunately, we can't do that, so then we have to fall in love with that other realm of intelligence, that ancestral reservoir, which children, of course, have until it's knocked out of them. And we need to recalibrate that, because although it may be less formal and less organized than what we laughingly call fact half the time, it still can serve the same purpose. And we, again, as part of the earlier question about what can we do, is linking back to that ancestral flow of intelligence, and whatever you can do, whatever it is for you, through music, through dance, through yoga, through whatever, is to get in touch again with that organic flow of intelligence. And then you will be beyond even the realm of what other people might need as fact and so on. You will have your knowledge, you'll have your knowing, which is a totally different thing, as the gentleman was showing yesterday about the difference between that feminine knowing, the ancestral knowledge, and then the other thing, which is the masculine paradigm of having to have the facts and then the consensus and all of that, peer review, stuff.
Okay, any thoughts from the floor on this? Any questions? Okay, no hands, so let's move on. What should we have? Oh, I'm sure we've got one for Michael here. Some of these are a bit too long, I think. Do you share the view of Jordan Maxwell, who, when recently asked in a Project Camelot interview about what he thought of the future of mankind, do you share his views? I don't know if you know his views.
I'm not really sure of that particular anecdote. Who wrote this, and what was the anecdote? What did he come across with?
He said essentially that he didn't have high hopes for mankind, the future of mankind, because the masses were generally dumbed down to an extent that they couldn't really fight what you call the war on consciousness. And he said he hoped that he was wrong eventually, as we said.
Okay.
Do you have any more optimistic view of the future of mankind?
Well, you and me are Irish, so we're habitually pessimistic about tomorrow, but optimistic about the day after tomorrow. So that's the answer. And I think, but to be more serious about it, oh, by God, if consciousness is left at the door, which I tend to think is happening, yes, then, we have to be realists and go, but at the same time, there is a turning of the tide now where consciousness and the understanding of our personal responsibility in all of this, and not finger pointing, it's them, it's over the hill. If we can turn that corner, then the whole game changes. This was pointed out in Professor Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, in which the most insignificant, smallest, lowest level of society has the biggest effect, can do things that powerful wizards cannot do, right? And if it was good enough for Professor Tolkien to believe in that, it's all right for the rest of us to believe in that. They can't win, because I've all said in my other metaphysical work, evil contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. And one really needs to meditate on that deeply and also see it applied in your own life with the tossers that surround us and all the other evil injustices that are done, even in plain view. Watch that experience. Watch what happens to a person who's evil and ruthless and negative. Just observe it. And you'll notice that this is in fact the case, and it's certainly the case up the fractal. Evil contains within it the seed of its own destruction. The moment that you take that kind of anti-human negative stance, you're just waving a red flag to nature, go come and get me, which is exactly what's happening now. It's called the age of revealing and the age of awakening. All the message that somebody like me can give is, can you please get into the spirit of that? Because it's happening anyway. And you can either get into sync with it, or you can just sit there and be smashed when the river takes a turn. Your ego boat, right, will be smashed. Can you let go of the shores, like the Hopi prophecy says? Can you let go of the oars and go with that flow? Because it's a very dynamic flow, and it will handle it. What happens with us is that we think, oh my God, what's little old me going to do? It's really difficult, you know. And then it becomes like you're suddenly taking it personally, as if your ego is going to be able to run out there like in the old days, you know, grab a sword and do something about it. We have no capacity in that realm. It's a mixture between tremendous responsibility and self-awareness of it, but at the same time the ability to, as Neil was saying, go yin. Let go and let the higher force guide you, because without that guidance, your pottering around is like a kid with a giant sword, you know, playing games. A higher form of guidance and a higher form of strategy takes care of this. It doesn't mean abnegate your responsibility, but it means try to always remain with your head in the clouds but your feet on the ground. This is both a physical war, but it's also a psychic one. And the guidance that comes to you is the most important thing, and it will show you where to go and what to do about it. And that kind of particular guidance I'm talking about is not the same kind of sorcery that the Black Lodge has. They have high intelligence, and they have tremendous human knowledge about us on the most fundamental levels. But they lack that connection to the higher intelligence. And that's their ultimate downfall, together with what I said about evil having the seeds of destruction within it. You choose that road, and you will be terminal. You choose the organic, living, feminine, you know, flow of the Tao, and no matter what tyrannies exist in the world, no matter how things get bleak, even if things get 10 times as bleak as they are now, worse, like a prison planet, really and truly, as long as you're with that flow, you're in your center, and it doesn't matter, you see. So it's all about where you are, and they can't inhabit that place, which is why they want dominion, right, over the world. If you can't rise yourself, what's the next best thing? Push everybody down. You're actually remaining exactly where you are, but you've done a good job, like the teachers and bastards we have to deal with every day. They're going to, you know, push you down, and then they feel mighty high. Well, that's what the Bushes and Obamas and the Stalins and all do. They cannot rise themselves, and we have to understand this. They're static spiritually. And the moment that you start doing your spiritual homework, the moment that you do your spiritual homework, you are then on the road to victory. That's the basic way I see it.
And any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to just add, on a more local level, I've worked with people as a shamanic practitioner, psychotherapist for 25 odd years, and I watch people struggle with stuff as they come out, as the heart opens, they come out with their own truth, and so on and so forth. And in most cases, particularly working with people over a year course or something like that, see people flower as they come to a more whole understanding of themselves and what their life's about. But every so often, I have had the sad time of watching somebody come to a confrontation basically with themselves. It might be enacted with another person, but it's basically with themselves, and not go. And the negative within them wins. And then they implode. And it's a very sad thing to see, but that's the local level of what Michael's saying. And it's our job to work with our own stuff and our own issues and to keep going regardless and go through.